What's up, everybody? It's Tales from the Flipside. Number, I have no idea. I didn't look at it, so it's going to be a good one either way. Got the guys with me. I'm going to talk a little bit of Doctor Strange spec, CGC grading foreigns, and whatever other trouble we can get into. What's up, all? How we doing tonight? We even have the epic Paul's problems in the house.
Got Paul's problems. Paul's problems looks like an internet problem right now.
Filling a square for is it terrible speed?
Oh, you're
a little grainy. It's fine. We can hear you.
What did Nico do to his internet? That's what I need to know.
Yeah,
Who did he bribe?
how does yours look the best?
He looks fucking crystal clear.
My home internet is silly right now.
Are you using an Instagram filter?
I just try to stay handsome every once in a while. It's because of my VHS shows. They're increasing the technology here in the valley. I've taken all of the streaming power away from West Virginia with a resurgence of VCR tapes, a lot of Betamax being played, and so the Wi-Fi works better.
Okay. Also tonight, we probably will have a couple guests to talk about CGC and foreigns. They'll be hopping on later. We may have a few other people running late. The CEO is out tonight, so you've got me running the show, and, well, I'm half-assing it. So we will do our best, and
you did great.
How shit goes. Let's start it off. I know Nico wanted to talk some Doctor Strange. It's about to come out. I don't know, 7 days away, 8 days away?
Yep.
Yeah, so what do we got? What do we think? What is this? Is this going to be the movie, or is it going to be something we've all just waited for and are like, eh?
All right, so if you don't want to know what's going to happen in the movie, or you're one of those people who thinks I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in the movie, this would still be the opportune time to shut it off.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so the conversation about Peggy Carter's, Captain Carter has been all over IG. I have no real confidence in her getting her own television series. I do have confidence, however, in her being in this film, in live action. She'll be there with Clea, played by none other than, what the hell's her name?
Charlize
Theron, right?
Chris, sorry, my man. This is my fault. I didn't send you the link. I forgot you were not in the main chat.
We'll have to remedy that problem.
We were talking a little Doctor Strange, so I know you were an extrovert.
So Clea, for sure, played by Charlize Theron. Monica Rambeau's mother, in some iteration of Captain Marvel. Then we'll have Peggy Carter. We're going to have Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart. We're going to have, thank God, where the fuck is the visual? So I can remember.
You didn't say you were going into that visual. You got to communicate.
That's the only thing I need, because I don't even remember who these people are. Yeah, we'll have Anson Mount as Black Bolt and John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Now, we suppose that they're all going to get murked by an evil Wanda, and that we're also going to see Tom Cruise Iron Man. There's a bet right now between a lot of different people on the internet. The posses are divided as to whether or not that's actually going to happen. And there's, at least from a lot of the people who've seen some of the screenings, the contention that a lot of different scenes have been filmed. Some may be there, some may not. I don't suspect that any of these iterations of these characters will survive. I do suspect that they're going to focus group the hell out of this movie, and whoever fans attached to will have a future in some iteration going forward.
You think Black Bolt, really?
Oh no, he's definitely going to be there. That's him.
Wait, so who's Jim from The Office playing?
Don't they want to?
He's going to get his head crushed. He's going to get his head crushed. He'll be dead. Wanda's going to kill him and everybody else. I don't know that there's going to be a future for this, but there may be. And
I just would think they'd want to stay away from that whole debacle.
Well, but it's a different iteration, right?
I know. I got it. Just, I don't think they want to remind people it exists.
I mean,
we're moving towards Secret Wars, I think, and I'm pretty excited about that.
I think to a certain degree they're taking the good with the bad. I mean, like they are cherry picking. Yeah, it wasn't great, but I mean, can it really hurt the brand at this point to reference it? Like,
So
it
if they're
happened. It
gonna
was the thing. Move on.
if they're gonna kill him, maybe it's a fan service. Like, yeah, we didn't like this as much either.
And honestly, he wasn't bad. It was just, I mean, not to kick Jeff Loeb when he's down, but it was just he didn't have the funds, and he didn't get along with Feige, so he had to stay in this little TV sandbox. So,
in response to the chat, it is in fact Peggy Carter, Captain Carter. And right now it looks like there's some interest in doing some stuff with her in the future. I have no firm confirmation of that. I really think most of Marvel is a matter of introducing tidbits, focus grouping, and moving forward. And that's how Kevin Feige's done it for a long time. What I'm interested in is the fact that it appears like he's filmed a ton of different iterations of this film, withheld different parts, and is making a concerted effort to dupe the scoopers, which I find to be fucking brilliant.
So he filmed different alternative endings like they did with that Negan episode of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
yes.
No, okay. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, just they did 6 weeks of reshoots, which is as long as it takes to film most films. You know what I mean? Like, that's wild.
And it'll probably be worth it.
Oh,
Crazy
dude, I
enough.
can't wait.
Well, I mean,
Crazy
you got to
enough.
think Marvel spec and just stealing stories is probably the number one thing the movie crews are looking to do, because it's the only thing people really go see at the movies: horror movies and Marvel movies.
Are you more
Everything else is
excited to
dead.
see? Are you more excited to see Doctor Strange or see what it can lead to next?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
I have
definitely
personally
wanna see
just
where it's
moved
going.
into accepting the Marvel movies and enjoying them as they come.
Yeah, I'm still obsessed. I'm excited about Secret Wars. I can't wait for Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, and the X-Men. I think we're kind of at a lull for a lot of people because of COVID and the movie theaters shutting down and the market's kind of soft. I got a feeling that it's all going to start to amp up after Doctor Strange, and by the time we get into the middle of the dog days of summer, people are going to be going crazy with possibilities. I'm just curious, are we going to see Wolverine? Will they, just stun the world by dropping Miles Morales in this thing? Are we going to see Ghost Rider?
I'm doubting Miles.
Miles is Sony, and I think that Sony doesn't have their shit together enough yet.
Well, and we're still, and the big Miles movie is going to be coming out later in the year.
Actually got
You know
pushed.
what I mean?
It did.
Huh?
It got pushed. So Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse 2 is now June of next year.
Well, more time to grade books.
Yeah, so that got pushed.
Box of Spider-Books.
But as far as the point though about what this holds for us, I mean, Nico's right. Like, we are going to be where DC has had to push back, and now they're Discovery's revisiting and looking at everything that's on the slate that even looks a little funny at this point. Marvel's the only show in town, and I mean, things are wrapping rapid fire. I mean, I just got notified that they passed out the wrap party gifts for Secret Invasion. That's done now. I mean, as far as filming is concerned, second Unit 2 stuff seems to be done too, so they're going to be piecing that together pretty soon. They let it slip that Guardians 3 has wrapped. Palm, what's her face, posted something by accident. I mean, we got the Christmas event thing coming for Guardians of the Galaxy in December, and then all the TV stuff as well. These next 2 years is it's Marvel's game to lose at this point.
Yeah, I mean, DC's their one hope is Black Adam, which who fucking knows after a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, starring the hardest working man in showbiz, so you gotta imagine he gave it his all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the future of Marvel is really about the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Galactus, Silver Surfer, Annihilus, that kind of direction with Kang and Secret Wars, right? That's one way. And
They gotta get the
X-Men.
Fantastic Four right though. That's the problem.
And X-Men going the other way.
I mean,
Well,
is there like
yeah.
a base there that they won't? I mean, they don't miss.
No, it's
And
just
even when they miss, they still hit.
it's just been proven hard with that. I don't know if it's the powers. I don't know what it is. They just don't seem to play well.
They've lacked the charm that the Incredibles had, but that's what Marvel does best. That's why I have so much faith in it. I have less concern about whether or not they can do the Fantastic Four than whether or not they can do a Doctor Doom Secret Wars, God Emperor Doom. That I think is a little trickier. And then for me, the issue is, can they do the X-Men? Because Marvel hasn't done dark, and the X-Men are fucking dark. When I say Marvel, I mean Kevin Feige. You know what I mean?
I guess the issue is like the X-Men were done decent several times, so
yeah,
there's a bar set.
Right, but like I like.
Well, I mean, but like
Deadpool,
we're like the
X-Men.
Hulk was a turd, so you can make the Hulk better easy. Here, it's gonna struggle for some of those characters to be better.
I mean, if they go comic book accurate, that's instantly, in my opinion, better, because we never got that out of like they, that time period in 2000, with the exception of what Sony did with the Raimi Spider-Man. Comic book accurate was a dirty word,
Right.
Like, so, I mean, you see it in the trailers for Thor. Like, there's a glimpse of him in hokey, straight comic book accurate winged helmet form. It's like they're not afraid to be about the source material, to be about being movies about comic books, and people are embracing it. People are loving it for what it is, and it's funny because Nico makes a valid point. He was just like, "Oh, the Incredibles, whatever." Fantastic Four brought to you by the studio that brought you the Incredibles. Like, all you have to do is go find those people and be like, "Hey, tell this story again, but with the characters you wanted to use, but rights were in their way." Done. Like, it's I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Marvel at this point, because like there's so many pieces there. They're willing to throw money at the situation. They will go find the creative necessary to tell the proper story. They will workshop it to no end to make sure that they do this the right way. I mean, I just feel like Fantastic Four is one of those ones where it's probably going to be a slam dunk. The X-Men one, you're absolutely right, can be a struggle, because we also with the fact that they're bringing back X-Men 97. But honestly, if they kind of lean on what we had with those original X-Men animated series, like, again, it's kind of a win. If you basically are doing live action version of that, with a slight tweak on it, who's not going to appreciate watching a live action version of the X-Men animated series?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, somebody questioned X-Men done right. I'm like, come on, you can't argue that some of those
Days
characters
of
are
Future
done
Past was
I
First
liked
Class
it.
was exceptional. Yeah, I liked it too. I mean,
Yeah.
it just wasn't fucking perfect. First Class, I could have watched that, iteration of X-Men films for all of eternity, and Logan was fucking gangster, dude.
Yeah, but X-Men 1 was boring. Like, it is a very boring movie to rewatch.
We've had some ups and downs.
Yeah, I
They
don't
were
know if it
also
stands
they
up.
were also introducing everything there. Like they had to kind of dumb it down.
Yeah, I've got faith that they can do the X-Men. It's a serious fucking project to weave it all together. And then the question for me, I guess, still is, will we get the Hickman iteration that I want with Nimrod and the Moira McTaggart, so that you can just kind of like do every version of the X-Men whenever the fuck you want. It's its own separate universe, because that's what I'm hoping. But as Hickman has sort of walked away from the X-Men, and really those only 4 issues or 6 issues or whatever were fucking good, I have less and less faith that we'll see something like that. So
I mean, you just still the concept. I mean, do what you've already done. Just cherry pick the general major plot point. I mean, what we're about to get in Thor is not verbatim the Jason Aaron run, but it's close. It'll be close enough that you let creatives who are script writers do what they do. You give them like some basic guardrails, being like, use this more McTaggart storyline that Jason Hickman, that Hickman did, and like I don't know. I feel like there's enough good source material there that you can cherry pick from over the last 80 years of the existence of the X-Men and the Marvel Universe. That I think you'll be fine. At least that's my opinion.
So here I think is where we Mojo quits talking, and Logan was terrible. Fox had no business making without the rights. I think this is the difference. Is I don't want to see this exact same thing I read in the comic books. I want to see a spin of it. I want to see take some of those elements we really like and do something new with them. Because if you're just going to do a verbatim story,
it's like a fucking high school play. Yeah, it's like a high school play.
Yeah,
it's fucking silly.
I think that's where people are getting real stuck. Is it? Yes, it wasn't accurate, but there were great parts to those movies. Yeah,
I don't care. As long as it's not insulting to the source material, I don't give a shit how they sort of like make it their own. And they're not going to make it true to the source material ever, are they? I mean, because they want it to be. Well, they want it to be theirs. They want to put their imprint on it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best stuff has been. Yeah, we took a little bit here, a little bit there, and we weaved it into something interesting.
And let's not forget that, like, the story wasn't done being told yet with some of those characters. Like, Wolverine didn't have an origin when the first X-Men movie came out. And if you go back and look at the first X-Men movie,
wow,
like, truly honest,
I thought about that.
If you go back and look at that story, he's got the whole, like, they kind of look like they're leaning on the adamantium and the claw, like his claws not being bone claw, but being like added to his skeletal structure. And then you jump to those shitty, the first Wolverine Origins movie, and they legitimately take that sequence from Origins where he kills the groundskeeper and he pops his claws. Like, that is in Origins. Everybody likes to forget that movie exists. But like, they went back and retro, like they're like, oh, it's in the comics now. All right, cool. Well, we'll go back and like use that as part of his origin story.
Yeah.
Like they're not against, even when it was in Fox's hand, they weren't against going back and like, borrowing story elements from the comics. And I mean, again, I point to X-Men the Animated Series. That was a trimmed down, slimmed down version of what had happened in the comics over the immediate last 20 years. They were like, oh, let's cherry pick these stories. Let's make them digestible and tell them in a fun and inventive way. They still managed to have the Dark Phoenix saga only span 10 episodes. And you got the point. And you're like, oh, cool, I didn't have to go read 4 years of stories involving her becoming Phoenix, to the Dark Phoenix, to the resurrection story, to, it was like, it can be done, in my opinion. It can be done. And it can satisfy people, and it doesn't necessarily need to be 100% comic accurate. Because again, nobody wants that. You're gonna lose the casual, viewer. Like, that's just not. It won't be there for them.
No, you can't. I mean, TV, even the Marvel series, even traditional TV, it's got to be a story you can get in a small period of time. Like, look at the Incredible Hulk from the 70s and all that. Like, it had nothing to do with the real Hulk story, but it gave you a little digestible piece with a little bit of the Hulk, and that's what TV's about. Now, Marvel's turned it into more like mini maxi movies now, but at least they're still giving you a digestible piece each week.
Yeah,
even if it's as confusing as shit like Moon Knight.
And Moon Knight's like, I mean, straight out of the comics. Like, I don't think people had any idea what they were getting into with Moon Knight. And I didn't realize, I didn't either, to tell you the truth. Like, I mean, I guess I didn't look that too deeply into it. I just started selling my Moon Knight books. But
Me too.
so it's just,
Well,
yeah.
I'd read the more recent series, but I'd not read like the original stuff. So I mean, it was just kind of, and it's not telling one specific kind of story there either. They're taking parts they like and doing it, and I mean, that last episode was freaking wild.
Yeah, but I mean,
let's just spin it on its head.
Yeah, it just flipped everything. There's only 2 episodes left to tie it back together. And here we are with that. And so if you're going off that last or the next to last one, the 2014, 2016, whatever the Marvel now is, yeah, they're kind of, it seems to be, those characters going straight with that. And yeah, we'll see. We don't really know. we don't know if this is all in someone's head or where I mean, we know it's not, because they wouldn't do it that way. But yeah, I don't know. So I think that's definitely a nod to the comics. They definitely, stole. Not only stole. I mean, used the material. I mean, we have scenes in the Thor trailer straight out of comic books, straight out of God of Thunder. And so I think they'll keep doing that. And they already had a whole lot of ideas that they already paid people for that they don't have to rebuy. So it doesn't look as great for the creators, getting offered $5,000 and stuff like that. That's yeah.
Yeah, well, again, they didn't know what this was going to turn into back then either. So, and they wanted to write comics. They didn't know what comics was going to be. Fast forward 10, 15 years later, 20 years. God, I mean, nobody had any respect for it. Even in the 90s, probably 2000s. It didn't become a money game until, Image maybe. Even then was questionable for artists like that. It wasn't until the J. Scott Campbells and stuff really figured out how to monetize their fame and their fan base.
And then the industry crashed, and so everybody who thought there was money in it was like, okay, well, that dream's gone. So.
Yeah. So it's a hard business to make money in if you're, just doing it on creating characters.
Before we transition can I talk about this?
Yes, you can. Hold on.
All right. So speaking of the hardest working people in show business, shout out to our friends at Pop Culture in Pittsburgh. They're having an old-fashioned comic book swap meet. I think Carter's going to be there. I know I'm going to be there. Carter, are you going to set up with us?
Yes.
Boom.
Setup means he just wants to get in early.
No. He'll have books. Carter actually priced books like a wild man. Carter spends 700 hours pricing his books, and then he'll just give them away because he likes to sell them, which is pretty cool.
If you price them, you want them to go because you don't want to look at those price tags next time.
Yeah, screenshot this one. I hope you guys meet us. If you're a fan of the show, come up and see me. I'll run you a hell of a deal or give you something, not a free t-shirt, but a comic or something cool. And shout out to our buddy Ken at Pop Culture, who is a super, super dealer and really has done a great job of kind of coalescing hardcore collectors like us and small shop owners and big shop owners and bringing them all together in one place for just comics. Sunday.
What I enjoy is that the promoter made that nice little quarter card so you could hold it like Carter holds a regular book.
Yeah, like I can do this with a VHS tape.
Yeah, you made a mini hand promo for you. It was nice of him.
I got this huge hand.
Did you get those mini baby CGC comics? And
No, that was actually a Betamax tape. So it was nice. See, I did that.
I do like those little tiny CGC things. They fascinate me. I haven't bought one, but I do see them all the time, and I'm like, those are just amusing. I don't know why. Somebody made some nice little money on some random idea.
Yeah. Hey, and I still have tickets. If anybody, I'll freaking overnight you tickets. All you got to do is shoot me a DM on IG, and I'll send you tickets to the show. You just tell me how many you want.
Very nice.
Nice.
Within reason.
Well, until I run out of them. I mean, you'd be like, I want 10. I think I got 10 left. Boom.
All right. Nice. So
Sleepy John is not gonna come, maybe.
Well, it depends if he wakes up.
He does rest a lot.
He was Yanni Gugulak. He was there last time, and so I don't know. He probably
That's a name from the past I haven't heard used in a while.
Well, that's how I know him. But
that's how I know him too.
I know of old Ben. Oh man, that's wild. So I know we were talking for a second on DC, just kind of touching on DC news. It looks like they kind of keep saying they're going to do these movies for streaming only, but they announced, recently they're going to do Blue Beetle as a theatrical release. Now it looks like maybe Batgirl they're eyeing to do theatrical as well. I don't know if that really changed anything. I think they're just saying if we can take a shot at it, $50 million or whatever we can get in a release and then send it to streaming, we may as well. But it feels like a strong strategy if you're already going to make the movie, try and cash in both places, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's absolutely exciting for Batgirl. I mean, I didn't have a lot of faith in that film. I'm super fucking excited now that they're going to put it on the big screen first. That means somebody has read something and believes in it. That's a win.
Well,
Right?
I think it's a strong strategy where you're not putting every egg in that basket. Hey, we've already admitted, hey, we're going to do this movie. We don't have to shoot for, $1 billion to be successful. We need to make, 150 million, whatever that number is. If we hit this and then we catch streaming, we're doing okay.
Is Batgirl going to be in the same universe as the Pattinson films or no?
It looks to be yes.
But
That's a
isn't
win.
that the one tied to Keaton, right? Haven't I heard
That's what I'd heard that initially, right? That they were going to do. They were going to have Keaton be like the Batman Beyond, and then
The
they
mentor.
scrapped that and put him in as the mentor for Batgirl. And then I had heard, way back that Batgirl was going to be in the Pattinson universe. That they were just going to make a whole universe around it. They were going to do the Gotham PD show, the Penguin show, and I don't know. I'm happy with fucking any comic book content because I'm a homer for comic book content. So,
Does it cost the studios that much extra to go to the theater and streaming versus just streaming?
Absolutely. Like, you're talking mass advertisement costs. You're talking basically the studio doesn't make any money for all intents and purposes off of the first run because of the way those deals are set up with the major studios, the major like the AMCs of the worlds and the Regals and whatnot. So it's a very expensive expenditure to get a large number of screens for a US wide release, let alone a worldwide release.
So then why are they doing it if it's not for the money?
Well, because the streaming situation just got a little funny because so you have the studios changing hands. So that's a part of it. So that kind of hurts things. Potential back end deals got really messy when you introduced the streaming scenario into it. And I don't know, maybe Discovery's just trying to actually establish a Warner Media as a movie studio again, and not like it's like okay. So the whole reason why, it's a little bit of backstory. The whole reason why, like, the big push happened for HBO Max to have all this content was because the powers that be over at AT&T were trying to. So this goes into you are a telco provider. You also want content to generate streams on your telco. You also are trying to compete with the Netflixes of the world. And that was like, dude's whose name I can't remember right now. That was his big goal, was to I want to have more subscribers than Netflix. Well, AT&T is no longer in the picture now. Suddenly your motivations, instantly change. And I think that's what's playing a big part in the sudden pivot on what they're doing, is that the people who are running the show aren't running the show anymore. And Discovery leadership's like, yeah, Discovery, HBO Max are cool, but if we can get legitimate studio money, it's longer money in the grand scheme of things. Like there's more money to be made from having properties like DC under and Warner under long term. The immediate return on subscribers just isn't there. Like what, $9, $14, and you and 30 of your friends can be watching a movie. It's just you get a better return even with the upfront cost. You get a better return on the investment running a movie for 2 months, 3 months in theaters.
Okay. So it definitely means they're putting a lot more resources into these projects if they're going to make that step.
Absolutely.
They're not just filler for streaming wars.
I mean, they've already called it out. Like the powers to be over Discovery were just like AT&T was not taking advantage of the comic book properties as they should have been. We're putting like they straight up said we're getting our Feige, we're getting our Kevin Feige, and we are taking advantage of this DC property that has basically was squandered by our predecessors.
It is amazing how much they've sucked at it.
AT&T is not in the entertainment business. They're
better at it than Sony.
I honestly think they're better at it solely because they had more shit to throw at the wall. Like Sony's had limited supply. Like
that's a fucking valid observation, my friend.
I mean, Warner, like taking all the Warner things, like that's hundreds of properties to just chuck at a wall and see what sticks, and how many of them actually did. Like even falling on your face, you should have been more successful than AT&T was.
Well, and yeah, we always just talk about the comic properties. They just have so many like potentially evergreen properties there that are dying.
Oh my god! Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, all right. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. I'd love to see DC get a little life. There's proof it can be done. Somebody just mentioned Dennis Chandler just mentioned James Gunn. I don't know that he wants to be the Kevin Feige, but I think you put James Gunn in your stable of somebody to call when you need something interesting. You need something wild.
So what they've described is less of a creative and more of a sort of like a management executive, somebody who can make creative at DC Animation, at DC Comics, and at DC Films coalesce and work together. They've described that as this Kevin Feige thing, at least from what I've read. I hope that we get more of a creative who can also do that stuff than an executive who maybe has little creative juices.
Well, I mean, what's interesting at DC is like, if they were smart, they could use their animated to kind of flesh out these ideas because their animated department kills it. I mean, they do some great stuff. And I always assumed it was a trying ground, and then they just don't ever make it. Like, hey, let's test this idea, what works, what doesn't, and then run with it. You know, they've had TV as its own entity, just kind of being weekly soap operas almost at this point with comic book characters, and then they've had the movies that are just. I'm pretty sure Moon Knight has more personalities than the movies they're running right now. You know, so if you could get somebody that's like, let's unify this experience at least a little bit. It doesn't have to be Marvel unified, but let's at least have a plan and a goal. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a universe, but let's not just make 1,000 random ass ideas throwing darts at the wall. So that maybe we can get a character that works and use him with another character that works and do something cool. So a couple other one hits I wanted to touch on. We talked about Netflix a little bit and that they just took a beating on subscribers. And one of the projects that got lost and killed in that whole deal was one that, you know, a lot of people have been excited about. Hold on, slow here. The Bone project from Jeff Smith was on Netflix, and they basically, their whole animation department went to shit.
Can I just mention that as a child, I waited for this. I've waited like 25 fucking years. No longer, 35 fucking years, and they blew it again.
Yeah,
God,
I mean,
damn.
so he posted this on Twitter is basically a reference to the Peanuts whole thing where it's like, hey, Nickelodeon, we'd like to make a movie. Sounds good. Pulls the ball away. Hey, you know, what the second one is, I can't read it. My eyes are too little. But, you know, he's like, all the times they've done it, and he you know, laying on the ground, never again. You know, like he's just defeated on this whole thing.
So my recollection, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Disney offer Jeff Smith like $1 million in 1992 to just buy Bone, and he refused
Probably.
to do it?
Well, I think he's probably smart enough to know the licensing's where the money's at.
boy, would I like for him to sell out to Marvel / Disney. Call them what you want, Pixar.
Why does he need to? I mean,
just because they're the best. And
I understand.
know it would get done, and I know it would be amazing, and I think it would just be good for children and generations.
Does
that aren't
everything have
comic
to be a
people.
movie, though? I mean, this
ya.
series sells in perpetuity through the Scholastic stuff. I mean, there's not a kid's library that doesn't have it. I mean, all my kids went through a phase where they read it, even without me pushing it on them. I mean, he is making some kind of pennies on this thing every time something sells. I mean, yeah, would he make some more money if it was done in animation? Mind you, the whole thing boggles me because they could make lots of animated movies fairly well. I don't know why this one is that complicated. So
Yeah, I don't know. He should have just kept 200 first prints for himself and lived off that.
right.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, I think we're in the scenario of what is it? Paralysis by analysis. Like there's too many options out there, and nobody like outside of like the Warner Brothers of the world and the Marvels of the world. Everybody else who has to play in the indie realm doesn't really know who to hitch their cart to, because things that you think are going to be a hit aren't. Things that you think are going to be a flop are successful. Like, I mean, Christ, look at Amazon. Like, Amazon is just like, oh man, we know we got a winner. Or like they hedged their bets on Invincible. It came out like and swung for the fences and connected, and they're like, oh shit, we got a winner here. The Boys, they never expected to have the mass appeal because again, they were looking at the success of the last thing that Seth and
the Preacher.
Yeah, like Preacher was good for a while, but I mean, it wasn't like the barn burner that The Walking Dead was. So it's like, again, they're just like, we don't know what's going to work, and we don't want to invest money and dollars in big voice actors and all this other stuff for it not to work out. Netflix, on the other hand, shelving shit is just because they just make poor decisions, and that's on them. But yeah, I could see, hopefully Amazon has the money to come through and try and buy out these rights. But again, they got plenty of other stuff that they don't have to back the truck up money wise to Netflix to get the rights from them. They'll just go to something else. And so
is there anybody else out there to really even make it happen? Any of those other streaming services in a spot?
You got to buy out Netflix's controlling rights in it, and they're just going to binge you over the coals because they can.
Yeah, so it's just going to sit and die,
basically. Or the rights will lapse. So it'll be what happened with Lock and Key. Because Lock and Key, multiple people have picked up the rights to that, did nothing with it, and if you don't do something with it in a certain amount of time, then your rights will lapse and they'll go to somebody else. Unless you got them in perpetuity, which is what Sony did. And so the only way Sony will ever relinquish the Spider-Man rights is if Sony ceases to be Sony. So if somebody buys Sony, those rights don't transfer. They go back. So again, Nico can speak to the legality of controlling rights and properties and IP law and all that good stuff.
I give up. We don't know enough. I remember when I thought, for example, that we would never get She-Hulk as a television series as a solo project because I knew that, at least I'd been told, never reviewed the contracts, that Hulk was always, going to have to be a multi-character film, blah, blah, blah.
Universal rights, yeah.
Well, that was clearly fucking not the case for She-Hulk because it was on television and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, the intricacies of those deals, I'm not privy to. And every time I think that I know enough to make some sort of informed judgment, I end up buying the wrong books.
Yeah.
What is amazing is it feels like I'm not even sure they understand it. And so probably there's 52 lawyers that come in when they get a character and we're like, both sides.
At this point, don't you think that they're just sort of like, checks wrote, or like new contract, here's new check, and I'm just like, all right.
I mean, because it's all based on where they appear and all of this, but it's all kind of gray and wild somewhere, and both sides. Both lawyers can argue a point somewhere, I'm sure. And that's what you assholes do.
I'm gonna not say a word now, so as not to incriminate myself. But let's just say I think we'll be okay with null whoever wants to use them. Yeah. Somebody will write a check. to somebody else, and it'll all be okay.
So
Enough money makes things happen.
yeah,
Is
I will
that
say.
great in the comics? I mean,
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I was saying, is Null really that great in the comics, or are people just waiting for it to take off?
A full sleeve of Null on his like shoulder.
He
So-
does?
Yeah. So
Oh.
just for that reason alone, I want to see Null on the big screen.
So
That
Mel will sell his
tattoo's
arm-
gonna that tattoo's
Mel will
gonna
sell
pay
his
off.
arm on whatnot,
Yeah.
dude. No, it's the screen, dude.
Be like,
Fucking-
fucking out pops a trash panda. It'll be like, give him a metal arm. I want Null's arm.
so no was better in hype. Like I will say that the lead up to finally like the big reveal and the big story of the King in Black definitely didn't live to the hype of the actual like, oh my god, he's the most badass character to exist ever. I mean, the ending of that story was not great.
Oh,
But
Christ, right? Ain't fucking poor Kate's. Why can somebody talk to him about?
Red Hood
Rap-
liked it.
I can hear Joe screaming right now for no reason whatsoever. He doesn't even know why he's angry, just because we mentioned the end of that story. He's somewhere and he's furious, and he doesn't know
He's
why.
feel it in his heart. He doesn't know
Yeah.
why.
But if they correct the ending or just never get there, everything that led up to that point was amazing. Like it was great writing. It just sucks that they chose an ending with that character that they had just done months before. Like they had done the, not spoiler alert for a 2-year-old story, but they did the Captain Universe ending, which they had already done, I think, 2 times before that in the last like with major crossover events. I was like, is somebody like got stock in Captain Universe or something? Because like it became the end all, MacGuffin for every single like we need to beat a big baddie. Suddenly, the Captain Universe and the Uniforce comes in and solves the problem. So that's where shit went south. But up until that point, the lead up, all the crossover, that was amazing.
You handsome devil, you. What are you doing?
What's up?
I'm welcoming him and Josh at International Comics to the show. He wanted to talk some CGC with us. He's only got a little bit of time because he's about to.
Yeah, I gotta go on Whatnot.
He's got a Whatnot auction starting in 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But as we are the channel that's been talking foreigns for longer than
All of the other ones, yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
Every
thought we should at
single other one.
least do a minute and talk some stuff about it because it was a pretty exciting week for us in the foreign community. CGC, if you didn't get it or didn't pay attention because you're like, what the heck's going on? They kind of put a big push on the certification of the International Comics and put out it's on their front page, just talking about what their process is going to be. Because over the years, they've kind of done it different ways. I mean, when you looked at the census originally, like you would find books spelled 5 different ways because somebody put an apostrophe in or somebody, it was just wild. Because I remember when I started looking at the Italian 300, the Lomo Regno, it was in there 6 different times. And so they've decided to unify how they're labeling it and kind of make a push on it. So, I mean, for us, that's very exciting just to kind of finally feel recognized. So I'll let Josh talk for a second on what, what are your thoughts on this puppy?
So I mean, it's definitely nice. I've only been doing this for a little over 3 years, and you hear about the OG people that have been doing it for a while. Always talk about how they feel excommunicated from the normal collecting hobby, and don't get a lot of recognition. So I mean, it's nice to see them do this because I mean, as far as I know, CBCS has never done anything like this. So I mean, it's nice that they're going to type everything out and clarify how they're going to do it. And I mean, nobody's perfect. A lot of people are still kind of like, CGC and labels and stuff like that. And it's like they're trying. You got to give them credit for trying. I mean, this is a huge undertaking to do this kind of thing. So I'm all for it. I mean,
Well, you could label it 2 different ways. You can do the foreign label, you can do the American label. But I mean, CGC is selling 98% to American collectors, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we expect what we expect. I mean, truthfully, I want to see on these books, Amazing Spider-Man 129, First Appearance of Punisher, where it's from and when. I mean,
Agreed.
because to try and track it any other way, it's gonna be hard. Like if you're getting into foreigns, this then creates that census, becomes a reference point for you. Like, well, where are countries that this book does exist? Oh, let me check the census. Okay, I see different countries on it, looking under the same book.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
Yep.
other reference point we have is the Grand Comic Database is about the best one out there, but that's far from complete. After that, you've got to kind of go to each different countries, or you've got to know somebody that knows that, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So
that
what are the chances that CGC is going to get so flummoxed by certain books that they'll just have to send it back just for like, hey, we can't do nothing with it?
I do think there's probably something that's going to come. I mean, kind of like they refuse to grade certain underground books. At some point, they're just not going to know. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll ever get to that point, because if you look at foreign books that CGC graded, I have a foreign slab from, I don't even know when it got graded, but it has the title, and then it's just no date, no publisher, no, it's just a blank slab after the title. Like there's nothing on it. So I mean, at some point they could just put the title, translate the title and say, all right, we did it. Like, whether people will be happy with that or not, that's another.
Well, so speaking to that, we'll give a shout out on Instagram. Foreign Comic Keys, Rob has helped them with a database that he's been building or acquired, or kind of probably amalgam somewhere across time, to kind of give them a backbone of at least probably the most significant books that they're going to see. I mean, people will send them strange Golden Age Brazilian and Australian, and some of that stuff will eventually pop in, but a lot of it's going to be these same kind of books graded. It's going to be like when CGC started. You're going to send in the top 500 books first. That's what people are going to grade first, and then as that census builds, and if people continue to be interested, then maybe we'll move off of these big books. But I mean, you're going to see the ASM 129s. You're going to see the Spider-Man 300s, which somewhere on here is. Yeah, I mean, so these are the books they're going to see the most, and they're going to have a good database, a good point of reference for them, and they've made a decision. Whether the foreign community likes it, doesn't like it, it's kind of probably 80-20, but at least it gives them somewhere to say, this is where we're putting our flag.
Agreed.
And I think it's interesting, like, because you guys have no idea what you're doing, but if you're like, hey, I like ASM 300, what else can I do with it besides the 1,002 homages? Okay, here's somewhere to go.
I just want them to put the country of origins flag on the label, even on the back if it's in the corner. I don't know. I think I've said that a long time ago.
That would be neat.
Why they don't have
That'd be
America
cool.
right now?
That would be neat. And I mean, the only thing that I don't agree, and I will call them out on this article, is saying that they're like the leader in foreign grading stuff, because CBCS has been doing this for a hell of a lot longer than obviously CGC has. So I will disagree with that part about it.
But they never did anything with it. I mean, we know the guy that was doing all the grading initially, and he's not been with the company for 4 years.
Yeah, like I said, and CBCS, they've never done anything like this on their website to this degree, and so I mean, it is nice.
They kind of dropped the ball on it. I mean, they could have promoted it. They didn't. They didn't embrace the community, and at least here they're like, hey, let's do it. Now we all know that it's tied to that Heritage is supposedly working on an auction, so I'm sure that had some influence on this whole thing, but. At least we've had Matt Nelson, the head grader, on the show a few times. He's talked about it being an interesting thing. It's cool to see. And as different people on YouTube and different places, Instagram, are showing these off, people are getting interested in some of them, because some of these covers are wild. And just to see different versions of them and have something else to hunt that's not just the new homage of the day is a different way for some people that have been doing comics for years to go. So...
That Wolverine was pretty sweet.
Will they have like first appearances like per country? Like, like say there's like, okay, so Spider-Man 129. I forget if it's the annual or Spider-Man 135 that's the second Punisher. But like if they never made a 129 in Timbuktu, And then would they have like a 1/3? Would they have to? Would it say like first appearance of the Punisher in Timbuktu, or are we just like it doesn't? You know, you just got to tell people that.
I mean, if they wanted to be accurate, they should put that stuff on the label, because that would be like Brazil. The first appearance of Spider-Man in Brazil wasn't an AF-15 or an Amazing Spider-Man 1. I think it was in a Thor title book.
And it wasn't even the first story.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the first story, but that was the first appearance of Spider-Man in Brazil. So,
And in Japan, it's like in a magazine or something, right? For Spider-Man.
Well, there's different versions. There's the manga Spider-Man, and then there's the one in the Japanese Playboy Weekly and all that stuff.
Let's take it to the Playboy.
Yeah. I mean, they researched this. So like the Disney comics, they are sticking with the country of origin because Disney's been such a popular thing. I guess they have a history of grading Disney, and there are Disney collectors from these countries that have established runs.
Yeah,
because the heroes don't translate everywhere, but I think Disney must have.
Probably just going to have to put a QR code on there, scan this for all the information, because a label's not going to fold out for 3 pages.
Yeah. The story behind the Disney stuff was that CGC apparently talked to the top 5 Disney collectors in the world and got their opinion on how they should label that stuff, and that was what the top 3 of the 5 collectors decided on.
What if the cover is different than the guts of the US comic? They're going with the cover?
I think it depends on the...
Because I know they've made trades and stuff like that, and then just reuse like the best cover from the series on certain books.
I think they're going with the cover for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be labeled the cover, but then they should have
say
a
the
note.
guts of.
Yeah, they should have a note of what's on the inside.
So like the German 300 has a random cover from Spectacular Spider-Man or Web of Spider-Man. Or the other option is the Brazilian 300 has no cover of any issue, and it's a panel page they redrew. So it's all wild. I mean, there's so many ways they could have done it. I'm glad they've just said, this is what we're going to do. You know what to expect. If you want to submit, this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
And then whatever makes it easier for me filling out CGC forms.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was like, Josh, what the hell is this thing, dude?
Yeah. No, that hopefully, once they get all that stuff starting into their system.
Wait, you don't make Josh fill out his own damn forms?
Nope.
You should make his ass pay extra for that, because it makes my head hurt when I try and do it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even want to try. But yeah, they're getting their noses wet because, like you said, that they have over 600 foreign books there right now that are just going to be for this heritage auction in August or September or whenever they get all their books back. So, I mean, they're grading a ton of them, and I agree that's what pushed this, because this has been like a year and a half in the making. Like, I remember talking to Matt Nelson about this over a year ago, and he was like,
I believe Nico talked about it with him live on our show.
Yeah, you did.
A year and a half ago during COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've been talking about this a long time.
Yeah.
Nico's paying attention for a second. He heard his name.
We talked to Matt Nelson about doing pulps. He said it was impossible then. As soon as he was appointed CEO, he said they were going to do it, and I got the fucking utmost faith and credit in CGC. I really do. CBCS, they cranked up their price tag by $10.
So I can't find a confirmation, but one of the
what's that all about?
Random submitters said they're charging a $10 upcharge on foreigns. Nobody could find the announcement. This is from one of the people that regularly submit. So it sounds like they're upcharging because they say the research required cost more.
I don't even blame them. That shit looks grueling.
Well,
yeah, okay, I don't blame them either. It's only what, $30 in the first place.
But why would you make that announcement immediately after CGC just announced, hey, we've got a database?
That's what they do every time. when CGC had the Franken slabs, all of a sudden let's switch to rivets. Like, what are you doing, you
Their
idiots?
marketing is
Every
just
time
like,
they've had it, every time they've had, dude, the Flipside has more followers on Instagram. Like, there's every time that they have a chance, they drop the ball.
oh, it is
Yeah,
amazing.
like CGC was like, hey, you know what? We're going to
CGC
take
just caught
pride
up.
in this. And CBCS was like, yeah, you know what? We're going to start charging you guys $10 extra. Like, okay.
I don't know. Like I said, that I can't confirm or deny it. I have not seen the email, but that's what has been posted going around. So
We have confirmation. Mel, I have confirmation of two things. One, Mel still watches the podcast. Just wanted to make sure. And two, fine, whatever. He's got venom on his arm. Fine. Love you, buddy.
Mel, we love you, my man. You are the best. He's actually saving up for Noel. Don't let him fool you.
All right. Rocket Raccoon's gonna try to fucking sell his arm on whatnot.
So I don't know. It's an interesting time for foreign comics. There's, like I said, that Heritage is working on a foreign comic auction. I don't think anybody has any idea when, where, or how. So I think they're all sitting in the CGC process. But some point that'll happen, and we'll see. We'll see where the market goes. We'll see if you know, the let's call it the new money and the old money in comics, the real money in comics takes an interest, or if it's just something that's a
Well, dude, do you
fascination
remember
with those
when
on
we
the
showed Matt Nelson the Gurries? He was like this is a guy who's seen everything,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "The fuck is that?" And you know, I mean, like, this is what happens. Like, people do two things: they either they go completely psycho and start buying VCR tapes, or they start in their global comic safari, the International Comic Books of Mystery. You know?
Yeah, it's
well, I mean,
Not everybody can just read every single fucking book that is, released each week like Gary does. Some of us have to go back in time, or buy a VCR or whatever. I don't know, something. You know,
it's gonna be wild. Like, it's either this Heritage auction is either gonna go bonkers or it's gonna be an utter failure. Like, I don't think
it's gonna go.
I don't think there's an in between for this. Like, this.
Well, I don't. But what's another failure?
Yeah, all you need is 100 whales, and they've got thousands of them on deck, ready to show up for the next new thing.
Yeah, I mean, what's an utter failure at Heritage? They're not going to go for $10 a pop.
Well, no,
yeah, dude, they don't fail. They're too big to fail.
Yeah,
they've got all the buyers, dude. They'll get people excited, tell them it's a new. Somebody's on the horn right now.
Even if it's
they're guys that are asking, the people running the auctions literally have the rich dudes on speed dial.
Yeah,
always want to know what the next thing is.
Absolutely.
And you say, hey, these keep going up, and they do. Obviously, they keep going up because we didn't know about them, or we didn't care before. And a lot of you guys brought it to the forefront that it means a lot to people, and they're passionate about it.
There's going to be bare minimum 20 books out of 600-700 that people all look at and go, holy crap! I have no idea what that is. I've never seen such a thing. I want it. Now, there'll be some other ones that go for average money, but average money at Heritage is going to blow away what we're used to paying for any of this.
I guess I'm just trying to not overexcite myself, since I will have a bunch of books in this auction. So
you've got some Gurries going, right?
I got that B&B 28 that's there, and some Gurries.
You've got this book, which it's not your copy. Is it on this announcement?
I don't.
No. Well,
no.
Mine's got an 8.0 of this guy.
Yeah. So I got the 8.0 of that and some Gurries, and I'm gonna send in my Batman 2, and I'm sending in some big stuff. So
those will be the things that are interesting to see what happens. I mean, who knows? Who knows what will happen on some of this?
Are those Australian Batmans worth anything yet?
I need to see the covers again. They'll be worth more.
Yeah.
It's all on the cover. 6 or 7 of them, and at least a couple Joker covers.
I think those are always worth. Yeah. If it's a Joker cover, that's going to get some eyes. I've got a few that I found were neat, just because they weren't U.S. covers, or they were so different from it. I enjoyed them, but if it's got a Joker on it, you're probably in good shape. I remember seeing them, but that was 5 years ago we talked about them.
Yeah, they're all different sizes and stuff too. They're just strange.
Well,
So-
we've come a long way because
maybe I'll put it. Maybe I mean they're in that. I have them in that oversized. I don't know if some of you guys are in the chat, but I have an oversized box that I hadn't checked for a couple of years. It's like a Dracula 10 and like all because some of the stuff in top loaders are in there.
yeah.
And I was like, oh well, this is a good day.
Yeah.
I was like, forgot about all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so good stuff. So I found those Aussie Batmans in there. I don't know, there's like
Nice.
6 of them or something. 7.
Yeah,
Well,
they did those
And
in
they're
all
only-
different sizes.
Yeah, and they're all different sizes, but I think they're only reprinted like a year later or something.
Yeah,
or
the
less.
Aussie stuff.
They're all pretty close. That's actually old, you know.
You should look too to see if it's Aussie stuff or if it's from New Zealand.
Yeah, there's a New Zealand subvariant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly sure they're Australian.
Well,
Well,
there's
no,
only, like it's hard
they-
to tell.
Yeah,
What was that
they.
Showtime show about the people from New Zealand. You guys remember that show?
Flight of the
Yes.
Concords.
Flight
Yeah.
of the Concords, the Flight of the Concords variants. It's fucking
Yeah, there
so
you go.
good.
With good
Hey,
old,
Fred Bruno,
Murray.
you're asking about Pence variants versus Canadians. The Pences have been going up and up. I mean, there's been
Mhm.
several examples I've shown in the market report being above the U.S. on the right.
It's
book.
Americans' hat. They suck.
So
We
I
looked on
don't
the
know.
queen.
Wild
Except
time.
for Golden Age Canadians and the people don't fucking pay as much for Canadian Golden Age Batmans.
Those Canadian whites or
Well,
whatever.
the Canadian pre-code horror. There's a lot of them. They don't do as well either.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild, isn't it?
What's really funny is that so this goes back to a point that John you mentioned in the absolute beginning, talking about the percentage of graded comics, like that the majority of the folks who are buying graded comics are the American audience. In my experience, and again from the guys who deal in foreigns, have you found that like the rest of the world cares about foreigns in that way, or like because I get whenever I've gone to Mexico, whenever I've gone to Latin America, Canada, Asia, Europe, they want American comics. Like they don't want their own stuff.
Certain countries have more pride, and it's definitely even within the country a more sub niche that want their own.
Mhm.
And some of these countries, like I think Brazil is the one I have the most experience with, and then probably Mexico kind of tied there. Brazil had collectors that were collecting their own things. They also collected the U.S. stuff. But as the prices, of the U.S. buyers continue to go up, I mean, it's still probably low for what some of us are buying because there's only so many people that can kind of source this material right now because they've done the research. But it's a subgenre. And Mexico, I think, is probably the best example because they were printed within about a year.
Mhm.
And a lot of that stuff is tough to come to market. I mean, we say that there's 3 or 4 examples of some of these books out there because either people are not paying enough or nobody knows that people will pay enough for it. So it's interesting. An example in the market report we're going to talk about later is Australia, where the prices have been going up and we're seeing more and more copies. I don't know if we haven't seen that in Mexico or they just don't exist easily. Mexico's a very, spread out country too. You got a couple big cities and then it's just, desert. So
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many like big collectors there are like in Mexico. Because with Rulo, I mean, he had so much stuff and he barely ever got rid of any of it. Like it took, him passing away for that stuff to start coming to the market.
yeah, even in Mexico, we've only really met a handful of big collectors. I don't know if there's more. It's so hard to say. We only take what we hear from them. I think we have a pretty good grasp of Brazil because there's a couple of very big collectors and they seem to network. Probably the same thing as U.S. dealers here, but our market's 100 or 1,000-fold everybody else's because it's just what we do. But I think just all these other countries. I met a guy in South Africa that I was working with, and he's like, yeah, I mean, they're hard to find, and I kind of collect them because it's cool, but I never see them. It's like they're never there. Nobody kept them. They wanted the American stuff. That's what happened in the Philippines and all of that. I think there's more Philippines comics in the U.S. than there are in the Philippines just because the soldiers happen to buy them and put them in boxes, and they don't know they have them. So lots of this market's so young, I don't know where it'll go. I have some theories. I think there's some things we've assumed for 10 years that will be right and some that we're going to be completely wrong on. So, and with that, I was going to kind of kick us to the market report, because since Josh is here another couple minutes, I wanted to just throw these couple books that he may have some opinion on. I started with a few foreigns. Let's see. Dino put them not quite in order, but here is a beautiful Mexican version of, man, what book is that?
I think it says, oh no, yeah,
Haunted Thrills 3. This
Yeah.
fantastic skull cover driver. Sold pretty well, honestly. $500. It's a beautiful copy, in my opinion. I really, if I wasn't broke spending it on 1,000 Brazilian gambits, I would have probably bought it. But I mean, some of these things are wild, because we've never seen some of these books even come to market.
Yeah,
And,
I would.
And Josh is more hardcore than me. You live on like the Brazilian
horrors.
and the Mexican version of eBay. I tend to just surf American eBay and see what pops up. I mean, there's some of you guys that are digging everywhere.
Yeah, and I've never seen this book like for sale. And Pre-Code Horror is my jam. And if I missed this, or
I should have sent it to you.
I probably would have bid on it. I would have paid that.
That's gorgeous.
I didn't send it to you because I kind of wanted to bid on it.
I would have paid that all day, just because I love Pre-Code Horror, and like that's seriously the first time I've ever seen that book in over 3 years. So
I mean, that's so much nicer than the American version. The red and the, I don't know what you call it, brown.
The writing is interesting too. Even it just adds a little flair.
yeah.
So these are the books that are really going nuts. Are the Australian Newtons and Jaffas. Because I think it's because they use this coloring that is so jarring to us that they just stick out. And I think that's kind of the thing that I've learned is, I had a wall of Brazilian books at Baltimore, and people looked at them and got confused, thought they were the U.S., and they're like, oh, those are reprints. But when they see something like this, they're like, wait, what is that? And this is an example where we saw not a ton of Newtons and Jaffas for a while, and the price kind of shot up. I think they were kind of one of the early ones to kind of pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we've talked about it more and more people have seen them, there's been a relative ton on eBay, more than one a month all of a sudden, where sometimes you'd go 2-3 a year. Now we're seeing 10 a month on some of these books, not all of them.
Yeah, like I feel like the last 3 weeks in a row, there's been a fantastic 4-1 now on Australia eBay. And so it's interesting to see the stuff, what is going to come to market once people start realizing, the prices they can get, because, I talk to one of my buddies in Mexico a lot, and he is trying to find me books, and he says that it's even more expensive for him to buy books within Mexico now, because people in Mexico are paying attention to what books are selling for on eBay. So
yeah, so I don't know what's going to shake loose and what's the monetary number it's going to hit. I think also that the rest of the world's we're all in a recession type economy, borderline. Some of these countries are really hit hard. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
and at least this one had the poster.
I mean, yeah, the Office of Newtons with poster is key.
Because there have been some big sales on Newtons with not posters, and I don't get it. But
yeah, without posters is basically incomplete. So
yeah.
I don't know. One more in that realm was an X-Men 1 Jaffa. We happen to put it with an American X-Men 1 just because we actually know the guy that pressed that one. That was one of our friends. I don't even want to tell the story because it's wonky donkey, but I just wanted to show it just because. But the X-Men 1 Jaffa, and the thing is, some of these aren't even the same size, even in the same title. Like you can have a big one and a small one. Is it the Jaffas that are oversized and undersized?
Yeah, Jaffa were the ones where the first issue could be like bigger than a normal comic, and then
they're like magazine
was
size,
like digest size, and they just alternated, and it's really, really wonky.
But I mean, these are solid numbers. It says a fine on that Jaffa X-Men 1 for $1,000 or $800, but it's got a pop staple
Yeah.
on that top. You can see it. So, I mean, they're grading a suspect. You just need to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But the colors are great. And, I mean, this is a book, 2 years ago you could have got for under $100.
And I feel like I don't keep up enough on the Australian stuff. I mean, I haven't seen one of these. Has there been one in a while that's popped up of the Jaffa? Like, I know the Newton's been popping up, but
I don't know. I've watched the Fantastic Four a lot more than I've watched the X-Men. But I'm just, like, these things have, in the 2 years, probably done easily 8-fold increases.
yeah.
Now, the U.S. is of 2, so I don't know where to put it, but it's an interesting place that the foreign books are going. I think I had 1 or 2 more. Let's see. I don't think Dino got all my images again, but I have one more book I wanted to talk about. I was hoping Rob would make it, but I have not heard from him, so I will share it with you guys. This is one that I thought was wild. This is The Comics One, 1963. It's a South African comic fanzine with a character called the Panther, which supposedly predates Fantastic Four 52. So a South African
Jesus
character
Christ.
that pretty much looks a lot like the Black Panther.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's gonna. I feel like at some point in time, there's gonna be some interesting stories that come out about U.S. superheroes and international superheroes, and
what you've got the Wonder Woman one. What give
the
us
Darna,
a 1
Darna
second
and
one
Wonder
on that
Woman,
one?
man.
What's
Yeah.
the give me the 1 minute hitter on that for people?
So
that
the
have
1
not
minute
read it.
hitter on that is Darna was created in the Philippines, I think 6 or 7 years before Wonder Woman was in the U.S. The writer creator supposedly tried to get her published, wouldn't happen. Supposedly traveled to America to even try there to get it published. Didn't happen, and I think it was about a year or 2 years after his supposed trip to America, that is when Wonder Woman released in America. And there's just so many coincidences. Like they both meet, like their name Darna was something of the Philippines, but it's like the same translation as Wonder Woman. They both had the same secret identity name. Like there was just way too many coincidences.
Very similar looks.
For it to be like, wow, 2 people on the opposite sides of the world thought of pretty much the same character around the same time in the
You guys hear of,
1940s. Like,
you guys hear of them kind of swiping Spider-Man ideas from places.
Mhm.
So some of these things are going to be interesting to see where it happened. I bid on this. I didn't know where it'd go, and I didn't bid enough. Obviously, I probably will kick myself at some point. Because I don't know how many South African fucking fanzines there are from 1963 floating around.
yeah.
Wow.
So,
All right. I love you
Josh,
guys.
I know you got to
I gotta
hit whatnot. If you guys
luck,
are
homie.
bored after this
Later,
Harper
dude. Good luck.
report
612.
and
Yeah,
pickups, join Josh, buy some international comics. I know
Thanks,
you got some
guys.
good
Great
ones coming.
cards.
See you later.
Thanks, my friend. All right, so we'll rock through this Mark report and hit pickups. But yeah, thank you, Josh, for coming.
I just want his first appearance from Wakanda. So
think
tell me
South
where that was
Africa's pretty
printed, and
close.
then we'll be good. Yeah,
It's closer to Wakanda.
I think it is.
All right. This is not a book, but I wanted to share it because I love some Darwin Cook. If I would have saw this, I'd probably fucking bid on it. Is a Catwoman commission. Darwin's one of the greats. Just his style is amazing.
That's really
Somebody
cool.
got it on a 1 bidder, which means they probably bought it now. And damn,
That's
beautiful.
pro-
I haven't
that-
seen Darwin Cook art.
I would say our dumbasses probably failed to fucking see it for like a whole week, maybe 10 days. And then
No
at the
problem.
last minute, with a $1,000 reserve, somebody came in.
Well, you're not looking for. I mean, we
Dude,
don't hunt for OA.
Well, not just that, like I do a bad job of looking at most bids, but like starts at 0. But when they start auctions at a real high amount, I fucking miss them all the time.
It's hard to hunt them because you don't. It would be lovely just if the eBay had a function, no bids or with bids. I don't know. That's the one I would love. with bids, honestly. With one bid, how many books do you miss with one bid?
Like everyone, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing. People don't put it on their watch list. And that includes me.
I apologize for the image. Dino cut it and pasted, and I'm cutting and pasted, so it's a little wonky today. And they're all out of order. I had a theme, but they are what they are. Beetlejuice
John's
198.
thematic Beetlejuice display.
I had a little theme of issue number 1's going this week, so I'll see if I can make it work. But this is one we don't talk about. But $400 is strong, right?
Is it in today's market? Is it?
You know,
for a dollar book?
If you got to think of, I mean, it's just the right age group. Like whoever is nostalgic and this means something to them, $400 probably doesn't mean shit to them.
A 9.8 at this point.
Look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
How the fuck do we find a 9.8?
I mean, somebody's hedging their bets, I think, honestly.
Dude, I've been looking for a Care Bears 13 9.8 for so long that it came up for $400. I'd just buy it. Just couldn't quit looking because it's got the Mad Balls on the cover too.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna try and tie these together. It may be janky, but I'll do my best out of order. SpongeBob 1.
Whose pick was this from way back in the fucking day? Jessup's.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that sounds.
I recall we talked about it. I think actually Stein talked about it too. So yeah, SpongeBob 1. $560. Though honestly, if Beetlejuice is $400, I'd probably pay double for SpongeBob or more. Much more popular character. Right? I mean, there's an entire generation beyond me that grew up on fucking SpongeBob.
How did you wait? We're like the same age, and you were watching SpongeBob.
I didn't, but after me, there's like 20 years of people that love SpongeBob.
I was gonna say,
My kids love
dude.
SpongeBob's.
Okay, there we go.
I'm too old. I'm just saying, you go 3 years past us, SpongeBob's like a fucking cult of 20 years. Much like Power Rangers.
Yes.
We're just a few years old.
Yeah, it was called Voltron.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm missing a few, but that's all right. I'm missing some images, but we'll make
Voltron was my Power Rangers.
He was. Another issue 1, actually down. G.I. Joe is 1770 Canadian, which was, I don't know, like 1400 US.
Shipping people, I don't know, man.
I know, Canadian, but it's down. I mean, that's like $1,500, under $1,500 shipped. So that one's down a bit. Issue 1's in
Oh wow, that's fucking awesome.
the bags. I've not seen this one either.
That's fucking awesome, dude. I'd fucking take that all day.
What? Why is it only $270?
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Well, it doesn't mean
Thank
it's
you.
perfect. It doesn't mean it's perfect in a bag.
Where are you
but
gonna
it
get
might-
another?
It might as
though?
well be. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's fucking gorgy. I love it. Somebody stole that, I think.
And then Star Wars bag.
Dude, I get tax and
Same
hang
deal.
those on the wall.
Absolutely. Same deal. Someone fucking stole that one too, I think.
I get more and more fascinated by these the farther and farther away they get. Like, you know, the older they are. Like 10 years ago, I used to see a few of them. Now I don't see any. So there's that. One more number 1 for us. Completely different direction, but we'll do it. Jetsons number 1.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Nice.
Only a 4.0. Looks
Yeah,
nice.
that's a good price, dude. I'd fucking $4 Chris, you spend $100 to grade that bitch. It's $162. If you saw that in a long box for $150, you'd be like, dude.
Yeah, I'd take it.
It's one of those things,
I even
though,
buy
that-
the later number 1s, the Charltons and stuff like that. I just grab them. They're cheap. They're like
It's just
usually $10 to
interesting.
$20. And just throw them in a
This is
box.
one of those things that our kids have no relevance to, though.
Yeah, but all it takes is it comes back, it's over. And that's something that might come back. Christ.
And I mean,
Also,
honestly,
this was.
go ahead, sorry.
Chris. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you don't need to come back. I mean, let's be real about it. Like, to a certain degree, funny animal books kind of like, you know, because of the stuff that's Disney specific. But like, nobody's clamoring over 99% of that other stuff. It's the people who were north of 50 years old who are buying those books at shows, but they got the money to spend on them. So if they care, there'll be a point when, I mean, my parents fall in this demographic of like the Jetsons and things like that. So, yeah, I mean,
Well, so do I actually.
I think the Jetsons could be an
But-
interesting one done
Yeah,
Rick and Morty
because-
style of irrelevance.
This was absolutely one of my favorite cartoons in the 80s, and it was on every day. And I still think about this weird stuff, how they just like take a pill to eat, and like how that I don't know where Earth was, but they lived in the sky, and when the weather would get bad, they'd have a pole, and their house would go up higher above the clouds, and then like just robots did everything for them, and they flew around in space cars. I don't know, I thought it was pretty awesome.
I've fallen in love with 60s sci-fi, reading it, listening to it, watching it, and I think it's just so interesting. Where did the world think we'd be in 60 years?
Ren, you know what I don't know though? When were these actually on? Were they still making these in the 80s, or was I just watching reruns and I didn't know?
You're watching reruns. Hanna-Barbera was the king of reruns.
Okay.
Yes. There's a couple questions in the comments of who owns the Jetsons now, Warner Brothers, and yes. So Hanna-Barbera is Jetsons, it's Tom and Jerry, it's all that stuff for the most part, and that's Warner Brothers property because that's actually what's the foundation of Cartoon Network when it first sprang forth.
So they own it in all perpetuity of all variations, not like just cartoon rights. They own all.
Yep, because Turner had the rights first, and then when Turner got acquired during the Time Warner, the Turner AOL Time Warner days, and that whole weird amalgam. Like that is the foundation of Cartoon Network. It's the foundation of like TNT, TBS, and a lot of other stuff. It is a Warner Bros. Property from now until the end of time.
Nice, thank you.
And George, I just realized because I was trying to look something else up. George Jetson was born in 2022.
Wow.
Because the debut was 1962, and and it's 100 years in the future. So it's supposed to be 2062, and he was 40. So This is actually happy birthday, George.
It's funny.
buddy.
I was
Beautiful.
talking to somebody about 60s sci-fi, and it's like they had a lot of the ideas right, just the sizes were wrong. Everything was big, and now everything's really small. So it's fun to see that.
That's a good
shit.
point. Never thought of that.
We did Beetlejuice. Can somebody tell me what this book is? We had another one on the market report for this goddamn book, and it was another big number. Is there some spec value I'm missing, or is it just McFarlane?
It's an out of control bidding war for a CGC 9.8 and nothing more.
No, but one's a fluke, two's a pattern. What is going on?
Well, I mean, how many like from that time period Dr. Fate covers do we have? Like realistically,
Yeah.
So it's the McFarlane thing?
I think it's the Dr. Fate thing coupled with the McFarlane thing.
I think it's both.
I mean, how many DC comics did McFarlane draw?
I don't know,
Not
but
many.
I'm like, is Dr. Fate that cool that you want to buy an 80s cover for?
I mean, it's
$700?
gonna be in a movie if it ever comes out.
All right, I don't know. There's better modern covers. I don't know. Whatever. It's issue 647. It's not a number one. I don't know. It boggles my mind on this one. We know the seller because we see this background enough too. So maybe he just got a good base.
Well, Vinny said it's first McFarlane DC art. So that would play
Thank you,
into
Vinny.
Also, I assume.
I will take
That's
that
cool.
as an acceptable answer.
I thought that was Infinity Inc.
God damn
That's
it.
what Chuck Hensley just said. He just
And-
Well, is it? Wait. Is it first art or cover? Infinity
Well-
Inc. definitely has a lot of art.
Infinity Inc. is definitely his cover because he has a fucking Spawn prototype on one of the issues.
I got nothing. I apologize for not knowing, but this is deep down the rabbit hole. But when I see two of them selling for insane money, there's something going on.
Yeah, damn.
Well, actually, there's one higher. Dino, like I said, Dino lost a few. There was one that hit 32 and change.
Nice.
So Harley Quinn 9/8 are moving back up.
She's back.
She is back. Brittany's back, bitch.
Yeah, no more Margot Robbie. People have faith in her again.
Golden Age. This one's covers that I just find odd. I like a good skull cover. I just find the whole thing odd. Doll Man. Actually, I'm going to start calling Nico Doll Man.
Thanks, appreciate that. Because I have
No
long
problem.
legs.
Yeah. You probably look good in that get-up.
I actually have one like that. I wear but only at cons.
I have
So
that
if you
offer,
go to the,
but
if you
I
go
need
to
to
the
advocate.
con, then in next weekend, you might see Nico.
Yeah, I'll have that on in Pittsburgh. I'll scare small children. The pants are tighter though. It's weird. I think I fucking Colbert on that one. I think that Chris. He's usually the best stone face among us. He'll just be like I can say anything, and he'll just be like. And that time I got him.
That was it. That broke
I feel
the
like
line.
I've achieved something.
Oh shit. I caught these just because a 9.2 jumbo comics. Jesus Christ, these are some high
Yeah.
grades.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite cover by far, but a 9.2.
Now, what's
Jeez.
his name? D or JD, the guy in the Golden Guys. He loves those Jungle Books. I bet he was
I
all over
love
this
some
one.
of them. There's
Yeah,
a
but he
few I
loves
sold.
all of them. I bet he was
Yeah.
all over this one.
Yeah.
What that's DS.
So a 9.2. Jesus Christ, that's like Promise collection range. Another one. So
Damn.
again, Fiction House 9.2. For $400.
That's a steal. That is a steal.
Right. I mean, is it a top 10% gold or jungle comic? No, but it's definitely top 25%. I mean, frick, that is a gorgeous, gorgeous book that got away. So I hope one of the Golden Guys got it, for the love of God. Somebody that appreciates it.
Somebody made it out.
Lil
Oh, dude, that's
Schomburg.
That's dope. What's wrong with it?
I don't know. I should have looked. It's too small now that Dino shrunk it double. It's Nico sized. I can't see it. I meant to read it.
That's usually just what my sexual partners say. It's too small. I can't see it.
I think I had one more. USA 6 2-0. Another beautiful one.
Fucking dope, dude.
That's cool
I love
shit.
those USA books. They never come to market. I didn't know that this one was up in an auction. Wow.
You miss shit. I mean, no matter how good your searches are, either they're too broad or too narrow, you're gonna miss shit.
Yeah, those are just such tough books. Mikey picked up a banger. Did you see that one with Hypodermic Needle?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, but I
it's
know what you're talking about.
glorious.
All right. I don't know what book this is. I'm just gonna click it because I don't know what his acronym names. Oh, Tim
that's the
Holt.
Carter book. That's the Carter book. Carter loves that book.
I like it.
This is a Frazetta cover, probably the most bargain Frazetta cover you can get.
No,
I mean,
it's not. It's not. It's not. Well, per cap. Well, because there's Ghost Rider number 5, and that's to me, that's a way better cover.
Can you get a 6.0 for $300?
No fucking way.
No,
Like
yeah, fucking price though.
that is cheap. I mean, it is far from my favorite Frazetta cover, and it's far from my favorite Frazetta Ghost Rider cover, but considering he has so few covers for a 6.0, that is a steal. So
If you guys want to know the rundown on the Marvel Mystery Comics number 19, I was able to
please
grab it.
do, since you
Nice.
don't have the mini comic.
All right, so on the listing there was absolutely nothing, and so I went to the actual graders notes on CBCS. A little bit of tanning on the interior cover edges, and a centerfold that's almost attached, but otherwise it's a 7.0.
Huh.
So
No
somebody got a
shit,
fucking
dude.
steal.
Woo!
Not truly conserved, just loose.
Yeah, I mean, almost attached is still attached. So,
I've never
Wow.
actually seen almost attached as an item.
Wow.
CBC
It's
is
usually attached
so
or
that's-
not attached.
For those that are unaware, that the reason that's awesome, that book is it has, well, I mean, among other reasons, but one of the main reasons, it has the ad for Captain America #1 in it.
So That's a
God
that's
damn.
a good deal. I mean, I
Fuck
know
yeah.
page quality matters, but fuck, man, once it's in a
I mean,
slab, I
cream
don't.
to off white. I mean,
Who
again, like,
cares?
yeah. I mean, I'm not a golden age guy, but like, I'm okay with. I'm one of those people who's okay with having like a very clean example with, because I'm not opening the fucking thing. I don't care
I
if it's
sold
cream
a
to off white.
fucking brittle Marvel Mystery Comics. I'm still pissed off
Well, it
about
said
it.
tan, right?
You know what I mean?
No, this is cream. It's cream to off white.
Oh well, shit. Never mind. Hell,
Well,
great.
that's fucking
Yeah, I take that any day of the week.
well done.
Yeah, unless you have the absolute brittle pages where it might fall apart in the slab. Who cares?
Plus, those CBCS boys are fucking always crossover potential.
Yeah, I'd be
Maybe
worried
not
with-
in the silver, maybe not in the bronze, maybe not in the modern.
I'd be
When
a
it
little
comes to the
worried with
gold boys,
almost detached cover because that means to me like it is hanging by a fucking thread.
I hear that. I'd be tempted not to.
I
do
don't
it
know
here,
what
but
that means.
yeah,
I don't know that term. I've never seen that term before of almost detached. It's either detached or not detached.
Hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't breathe too hard.
A couple more books, not too many today. We've been talking about the Spawn and the high numbers. How about a Spawn 64 for $900, 9.8?
God
What the
damn.
fuck, dude.
There's got to be something to that.
I mean, it's the black
Right.
framing on it.
I just didn't know it extended this low. I mean, yeah, it's a black cover. Jesus Christ, if you got 9.8 candidates, just send them in if you got Spawn books, right?
I mean, somebody's trying to complete that perfect run.
I assumed it was 150 and up. I mean, we're talking 64, which is not.
So
It's not
five-
number. It's not
$5
number
book,
12 to
dude.
24, but that's still a respectably early number.
There's only 5.98.
Wow.
I don't know that. Yeah, but do
But
we
because
really
nobody
think
gave
there's
a
only
fuck
five
enough to
9.8s at
grade
this
it,
point?
dude. That's why.
Yeah,
I just found a dealer with 7 copies for sale. It's like, okay. So that
some of those are 9.8s. So if you guys are pressers or wizards, you should be working.
they're
from that
actually
on some
easy
of
to
these.
press, but it is the black if it takes a But I really think I think still at this point there were still collectors putting stuff away for Spawn, non-bagged and boarded.
There's
Like, I
gonna be
definitely
some,
have that.
right?
I don't know.
The print
It's a
run
pretty
doesn't
cool-
shrink that much yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the dual cover. It's Capullo and McFarlane together.
You know,
It's kind of
that's-
cool to have the double like signature box down there on the left.
Yeah,
And I don't know. The gun cover seemed to go more. It actually says 666 on above his eyes there, and we know that a lot of the McFarlane toy collectors are really satanic guys.
so
but-
we think this is an outlier
probably
sale in
do.
this range.
I don't know. There's only 5.98, but like I can't imagine. I mean, even as a Spawn, I don't know. Spawn being that little bit of a crossover, not with properties, but like in the fact that McFarlane Toys and his respect is more of a crossover figure than it is like a crossover genre sort of thing.
That's
So
fair.
I know that a lot of Spawn collectors do that, do that. But I don't know. I'll just look for something to press and grade. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Whenever I find near mint Spawns in a box, I'll usually buy them.
It's probably worth it.
Almost anyone, because you can make money on the grading ones. And so I actually I think my next order is I've got a short box or whatever of Spawn that I've handpicked, not necessarily handpicked like for sure going to be 9.8s, but ones that are going to sell better than any of the rare stuff. I don't leave them behind. I'll pay more for them just because a bird in the hand is worth more to me. And when I can check it out. So I got a Spawn grading order coming up here pretty soon, I think.
All right. One more book, I think. Just Thor 1 first sheet, Thor first print versus fourth print. A little bit of premium. I don't know. They don't even have enough of a look different for me. I don't love the cover banner. It's not even a great cover banner difference. Is that magenta?
Yeah, it's really hard to pick up on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no.
Maybe that's a key is trying to find a few that are mislisted. I don't know. But I will say female Thor is doing a little more interest than Gore at this point. Probably because she's featured in the trailer, but
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that toy image really hurt the Gore spec. Like, it really hurt it.
Do you think it just got edited out of everything too? Like they said, "Oh, we're not going to show it." A la Sonic. Like when the public reaction was so bad, they just had to redo the thing. They just said, "We're going to pull this back and not even show you."
I mean, possibly, but the issue is though with Sonic, they were able, and like a couple outlets have mentioned like maybe they'll go back and correct or fix real quickly because they got time.
Yeah,
the
they
issue
can do
is,
it
though,
behind the scenes.
Well, but my concern is though is that like I don't think there's any. I think it's practical, and so there's no mocap like dots on the face to go back and fix that. Sonic was completely a digital rendering, so you just go back and bend some South Korean like animation studio over a rail for like 2 months, and now crank you out a new Sonic. Like you can't undo his face because there's no dots on it to capture the image.
So we're in an apocalypse.
Yeah, well, I think we're just stuck. Like it's just that will not.
They
be the part that people
recolored him
focus on.
even, right?
They tried to. It didn't really work. He's still like Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so who's got pickups?
I'll go because
I'll go last.
I got a question I'd like to ask you, John.
Oh God, I don't know anything, so that's worrisome.
Okay, so I came across this.
Mm-hmm.
We got a long shot.
Since Spanish,
German looks like
German.
I asked.
Yes, you're right, German.
I asked Rob, and he said it was what, Dutch.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And
It's not
I got
Spanish.
this. Well,
no, I was looking at the size at first, but I see the words.
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. It was $15. I figured why not? And I appreciate that it's
Can you put it closer in that top in the price corner so I can see?
You see it?
Oh shit. That's just not a publisher I'm familiar with. Shit.
Basti.
Not Spanish, that's for sure. Shit. I'll have to look at it. It might be Dutch. I thought it was German from the writing. You're right, but I don't know. It's oversized.
Yeah, I can appreciate.
Right?
The fact
Is that
it
like
is.
magazine size?
Yeah. This thing is huge. And
I've never seen anyone build the set of it, so I will do some looking for you. Holy crap!
Yeah,
It's
big.
German.
You're not holding it with one hand, so it's big.
right.
Oh, you already got it. Thank you,
It's-
Carter or Chris.
Yeah, it's Basti Verlag, and it's German.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I've never seen that.
I just liked it. I thought since it was so big and it has the cover to the first issue.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The
I mean,
American
you
version,
can't even
why
ship
not?
something over here for $15. So
Right. So yeah,
I don't see people building that set, but wow, where the hell do you find that?
I was at a toy show of all things, and
You dug through the nasty oversized boxes, didn't you? You're
That's-
that deviant.
It was a new collection, so I was like, okay, let's.
The oversized boxes are where you find some gems because nobody wants to look at that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
true
it.
story.
Oh, and speaking of the toy show, what was there? I was thinking I was going to find some cool 80s stuff, and no, I found tchotchkes. So, so basically anything like toy related that I found was this. Okay, so I found Batman and Robin Adventures Canteen. I mainly bought it because it still had the Hills price tag on it. So we got this, the canteen.
You're gonna give that to Nico to keep hydrated at the show.
We got
Wow,
That's dope.
The juice bottle 2-pack, nice.
Batman and Robin. Juice bottle. I'm like, okay, fine. And we got. So the first one was yellow, and this one was like a turquoise color. And these were like, so I got both of these for like $5.
I want to see Nico wearing that on his belt.
Makes sense.
And-
I thought those were fucking like children's soap dispensers.
Right, I thought so too. And I got
Oh, that's cool, actually.
a Batman thermos lunchbox from 1993.
Is
Nice.
the thermos in there?
Oh yeah, this thing has been
Complete.
untouched. The price tag is still on it,
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
and
That's tough,
it's
man.
got
Oh shit.
this
Wow.
thing is clean.
That's
Living
even,
large.
God damn it, those thermos didn't leak like a motherfucker when I was a kid. Everything in the lunchbox covered in goddamn juice.
Yeah, so I was in high school when this came out, when the Batman the Animated Series came out. So I would not have been rocking this at all.
No, but now you're like, hell yeah, I will.
I fucks with it now. Okay, and
Killer score so
Oh,
far.
God.
non-comic book. So I got all of that stuff for $20.
Okay. Are you pulling out VHS?
Yes,
Better
sir.
fucking believe it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the 1984?
Okay, so what say you? What say you?
I don't know. What's the bottom say? Does it say
Yeah, copyright date.
1984?
1984.
It's about 84. Yeah.
Winner chicken fucking
No,
dinner, bro.
where's the barcode on this? Is there a barcode? I can't.
No barcode's
there's-
better.
No
Yeah,
barcode. No
it's
barcode.
First
That's good
print.
stuff.
Yeah, you fucking killed it.
Yeah, boy.
What'd you pay?
I think I got this for like $20.
Oh my god.
Killer.
We got the
Jesus Christ.
watermark
On the front Warner Brothers watermarks. God damn.
Nico's losing his shit.
Oh, no barcode at all, baby.
So it's funny. What Carter's
good.
showing now is one of those tapes where I was just like, why the fuck isn't this like a $500 tape? But
right.
I was too cheap to buy in at like $120, $150. When he says he got one for 20, I give up. Well
Yeah,
done,
man.
sir.
The deals are out there. The deals are out there.
Yeah, they really fucking are.
No barcode's a good sign on most things.
Strong.
Okay. This is something I forgot to show last week. So we have New Avengers. I think this is from what year is this? This is the 2013 series featuring the Illuminati. And I somehow, some way, I got this for $50, and this is a 1 in 50 variant,
Whoa,
and
damn.
it's the first appearance of the new Dr. Spectrum, who happens to be a female. And I don't know. This is a book that I've always, like kind of spec'd on, because I remember I paid $40 for a raw copy like a year before. So coming across a 9.8 for $50, I'm like,
Wow.
ship. You guys are $50 shipped. This is nuts. So,
Yeah, that's a 1 in 59.8. You can't do any
Yeah.
cheaper.
and it's a first appearance, so you never know. You never know. You never know.
All right.
Nice.
You
I
never
saw
know.
Sean has nothing.
I got VHS, so let's see some more VHS.
Oh, so
Yes.
We'll let you show some VHS. You
Why else
34.
everybody gotta be so hateful? All right. I got this for literally nothing. It's called Saboteur, and it is Alfred Hitchcock. Beta. I think, first print.
Hell
Alfred
yeah.
Hitchcock.
I'm with
How
that.
do you
Betamax.
even shop for this shit?
Cracked ends.
It's all eBay at this point.
Yeah.
This is Jason X.
Okay. Is that a
He wants a space. Meh.
I don't fucking know, but
Okay, now do those different color watermarks mean anything?
I don't know. These are the first ones I've seen. I was just like, that's cool. I'll take them.
Yeah.
But yellow, All right, now this is. I'll save that one for a second. This is one I think was fucking cool. I got this for basically nothing.
all right?
Curse of the Pink Panther,
Throw it back.
big box beta. And then this is the one that I think is smart. Super Troopers screener.
Oh, the
that's
screener with a
cool.
Walmart.
Broken Lizard screener.
Fuck, I have no fucking clue. I think
How to
Walmart.
get to Walmart?
I have no idea. Walmart just got a bunch of these wacko fucking tapes, but that's what I got.
Wow.
Yeah,
Or somebody
Pretty wild,
stole it
right?
and returned it to Walmart.
what if I know? I was just like, thanks, I'll take it, and done.
All right.
Yeah, weird, right?
I have nothing this week. Sean has nothing. Let's let Chris drop some shit that we will cry about.
Yeah, so this is a book that has been like 3 weeks in the making.
Shit.
It's what I mentioned last week about when you're moving big money on PayPal, they hold it for a long ass time. So yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Dun 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 dun.
I don't have licensing
amazing,
to music,
dude.
but I would play it. Jeez.
Congratulations, amazing book, dude. Hell of
Yeah.
a journey to it, also.
I
Yeah, it
haven't
took
seen
so
a
long.
book in that. I haven't seen a Fantastic Four in that grade in my life. I don't think.
Yeah. So the 2-0 I had last week, everybody I talked to was like, there's too much press potential in that to just sell it as is. So I sent it off to Chris out west or out east to crack it and press it. So it just got to him. So he's on vacation, but in another week or so, we'll see what happens. You know, what you can do to a 2-0 old label.
I mean, even if it hits a 2.5, you probably made some more money.
But yeah, so
Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, I've had this one for a while, but yeah, before the mark. Crazy thing is, though,
Throw it away then.
crazy thing is though, if you look really hard, date stamp of August 10th, date stamp of August 10th.
That's beautiful.
sweet.
Nice, man.
So these bad boys.
5.0 is brighter though.
Yeah, it is. It's the craziest thing. Like the 5.0 is a super clean,
that's
bright
like-
copy.
Yeah, there's no freaking dirt on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I can see definitely where like these are basically like when you really look at them, they're about a half a grade between each other.
Yeah, but man, that 5.0 has got bright colors and
Yeah.
just clean.
I mean, off-white to white pages on the 5.0, off-white pages on the 6.0. Both of these bad boys, when the time comes, will be going to Heritage. So yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for Krasinski to pop a bunch. But like, people are scrambling to grab FF1s now. Like all the ones that were on eBay disappeared within like a week before the announcement came out. That leak came out. People were offering me like crazy trades when I threw it up as trade bait, the 2.0, before I ultimately decided to send it back to Crack and Press. People were offering me like the kitchen sink and cash on top of it. I was just like, I thought I was being absurd with my asking price. I was like, let's see what happens. And people were just like, here's a Hulk 181.94 and then cash on top of it. I was just
Damn.
like, I was like, shit.
I probably shouldn't sell.
Yeah, when you start to see people do borderline crazy things to get a book, you're like, I should probably sit on it. So
yeah, when you get 5 offers on a book on eBay in the same day, you either you decline them all or raise your price,
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be another $2,000.
and then you
So-
start searching for news.
Well, so crazy stories. You mentioned that the 5.0. I had somebody who I had sent out the offers to watchers of 40 and some change back in January, and the person came back with a counter offer. It wasn't where I wanted to be. I was like, I'll sit on it. I raised the price after the Heritage 5.0 sold for $50K up to 60. I think I've got it out there for 65,000. The best offer now on eBay. If you see it out there, it's the only one out there on eBay, basically in that price range. Guy came back and made a competitive offer, but I'm like, nah, man. Like at this point, we know they're coming, and the market was just set by Heritage at 50K. So, yeah,
Damn.
so yeah, that's where that was a hard check to hit the button on. Let's put it that way.
Congratulations,
Well,
sir.
yeah, those are numbers you're like,
I was like, that is down payment on house money. Like that went away for that book. I was just like, oh, this better pay off, or I'm gonna be real sick. So,
Congratulations.
yeah.
That's a
Appreciate
big
it, man.
deal.
if you're married, you don't tell the wife about that shit.
The significant other pushed me to make the deal. I was
Oh,
pushing.
wow.
She pushed me. She was like, no, like this is a solid investment. Make it happen. I was like, this is why I love you.
So
Mm.
you got a rational individual there. My wife would be like, that better be in the mail yesterday.
Yeah,
So
no, I just don't bring those ones up.
No,
So there's another cool one coming. So
I don't have anything that much for sale, but
it'll be here probably tomorrow or Thursday.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I'll be I won't be here to receive it, which sucks. But there's another big trade that I'm pulling off for something Silver Age, high grade, and white pages. So it's taking a couple big hitters from my collection to get it, but that one's gonna be a fun one too.
If you're
So,
talking about it, I
nice.
look forward to seeing it.
Oh yeah,
Amen.
it's in the mail. It's coming from Canada, so
Oh, goddamn Canada.
oh boy.
pure later, taking forever.
All right. I think hell of a show, gentlemen. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for viewing. Please like, subscribe, check us out. Nico will be back
Sunday.
with VHS. I think Carter might drop another pickups maybe if he gets motivated. And otherwise, we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
And Spawn 64 was polybagged.
Thank you. So that makes it
Polybagged
bitcher.
with the black cover. That's why 9/8s are worth a lot of money.
All right. So
Figured it out.
Nice.
you're probably effed on that deal. All right. Thanks all. We're out.